Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Whether you've been with us for a while or are joining for the first time, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude for having you here. This channel is about exploring timeless wisdom and applying it to the complexities of modern life. And today, we're delving into a subject that is both deeply personal and universal. Fear. Fear is something every single one of us has encountered. It's the uneasy flutter before a major presentation, the hesitance when considering a life-changing decision, or the persistent worry that keeps you awake at night wondering what tomorrow holds. But what if I told you that fear, instead of being an obstacle, can be transformed into a powerful ally for growth? Today, we'll explore 5 profound Stoic techniques to change your relationship with fear, not just to manage it, but to render it powerless in its grip over you. These techniques aren't abstract ideas. They're actionable, grounded in the philosophy of Stoicism, and designed to help you lead a courageous, purposeful life. Before we dive in, let me share a personal story that reflects the power of these principles. A few years ago, I stood at a crossroads in my life. I had a stable job, a routine existence, and from the outside it seemed I had everything together. But deep inside, I felt unfulfilled. The idea of pursuing a passion I truly cared about terrified me. What if I failed? What if I lost everything? Those fears kept me frozen for a long time. That is, until I turned to the wisdom of Stoicism. Applying these timeless teachings helped me conquer my fears and embrace the unknown with resilience. Now, I'm here to share those same lessons with you. Whether you're facing a monumental decision, battling everyday anxieties, or seeking ways to grow, these 5 techniques will empower you to face your fears head-on. Let's get started. 1. Embrace the worst-case scenario. Our first technique comes from Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers. He believed that fear often stems from uncertainty and the unknown, so he encouraged people to confront their fears by imagining the worst-case scenario. While this might seem counterintuitive at first, it's an incredibly liberating exercise. Think about it. Fear is like a shadow, larger and more intimidating than the object that casts it. By picturing the worst possible outcome, you strip it of its power. Let me share an example. When I was considering leaving my secure job to follow my passion, the fear of failure consumed me. My mind spiraled with questions. What if I can't make ends meet? What if I fail miserably? What if I ruin my life? These fears paralyzed me, but then I followed Seneca's advice. I sat down and vividly imagined the worst-case scenario, running out of savings, struggling to find work, and even moving back in with my family. At first it was uncomfortable, but then I realized something profound. Even in that scenario, I would survive. I would still have my skills, experience, and support system. This exercise didn't make my fears vanish, but it reduced their intensity. By embracing the worst-case scenario, I felt lighter and more prepared to take the leap. Try this yourself. Think of something that scares you, close your eyes, and imagine the worst thing that could happen. Ask yourself, would I survive? What resources would I have? How could I rebuild? Often, you'll find that the worst-case scenario is far less catastrophic than your fear makes it out to be. 2. Focus on what you can control. This technique is central to Stoicism and was championed by Epictetus. He taught that we should distinguish between what is within our control and what isn't. This distinction can transform how we approach fear. Many fears arise from worrying about factors we can't influence, like other people's opinions, the economy, or the outcome of a situation. These external elements are often outside our grasp, and fretting over them leaves us feeling powerless. However, by focusing on what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and responses, we regain a sense of empowerment. During my career transition, I worried endlessly about external factors like market conditions and potential failures. But then, I remembered Epictetus's wisdom and shifted my focus. I realized I could control my preparation by gaining skills, dedicating myself to hard work, and maintaining a positive mindset. One way to apply this principle is to create a control and can't control list. Write down the aspects of your situation you can influence on one side and those you can't on the other. Redirect your energy toward what's in your control. For example, if you're preparing for an important presentation, you can't control the audience's reactions, but you can control your preparation and how you handle unexpected challenges. This shift in focus brings clarity and reduces anxiety. 3. Practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed in intentionally exposing themselves to discomfort to build resilience. This practice, called voluntary discomfort, involves deliberately stepping out of your comfort zone to strengthen your ability to face challenges. Here's a simple example from my life: cold showers. Initially, the shock of cold water was unbearable, and every fiber of my being wanted to return to warmth. But as I persisted, I noticed changes, not just physical adaptation but mental resilience. I became less reactive to discomfort and stress in other areas of my life. You don't need to take extreme steps to try this technique. Start small. Skip a meal, spend a day without your phone, or challenge yourself with a physical activity you've avoided. Voluntary discomfort helps us develop courage by proving we can endure more than we think. It prepares us for life's inevitable hardships, making the unknown feel less daunting. 4. Reflect on past fears. When fear grips us, it can feel like an insurmountable obstacle. But reflecting on the fears we've faced and overcome in the past can provide powerful perspective. For example, I once feared public speaking. Years ago, the thought of standing in front of an audience made my heart race and my palms sweat. I remember one presentation in particular where I was sure I'd fail. But despite my anxiety, I made it through. While it wasn't perfect, it was a victory. Years later, when I faced new fears like starting this channel, I reflected on that experience. It reminded me that I had faced fear before and succeeded. Try keeping a fear reflection journal. Write about situations where you were afraid, how you handled them, and what you learned. You'll likely see that your fears were often exaggerated and the outcomes were manageable. This practice builds confidence and reminds you of your inner strength. 5. Live with purpose. Finally, we come to perhaps the most powerful technique of all: living with purpose. Marcus Aurelius believed that aligning our actions with our values and goals gives life meaning, which diminishes fear. When you're clear about your purpose, fear loses its hold over you. Instead of worrying about obstacles, you focus on what truly matters. When I started this channel, I was terrified. What if no one watched? What if I failed? But I asked myself, why am I doing this? What is my purpose? The answer was clear: to share Stoic wisdom and help others live fulfilling lives. Take time to reflect on your values. What drives you? What do you want to achieve? Write a personal mission statement, a declaration of your purpose, and keep it visible. Whenever fear arises, revisit your purpose and let it ground you. Living with purpose transforms fear into fuel for action. It reminds you that your goals are worth the risk and effort. Conclusion: transforming fear through Stoicism. Fear is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. By embracing Stoic techniques, imagining the worst-case scenario, focusing on what we can control, practicing voluntary discomfort, reflecting on past fears, and living with purpose, we can change our relationship with fear. These principles have transformed my life, and I hope they'll inspire you to face your fears with courage and resilience. Remember, it's not about eliminating fear, but learning to live bravely alongside it. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found these insights helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Together, we can apply ancient wisdom to overcome life's challenges. Until next time, stay strong, stay resilient, and stay stoic.